Good morning and welcome back to the Kop TV Hot Kopics, the podcast that myself and Doyle do every single week live from the studio. And this today, Doyle, with no pun intended, is episode 115. Hey? How are we, fella? Good to have you back. Hey! How are we, fella?
All right, I've just had 72 hours of intoxication at my best friend's wedding, where I was a best man. And so I'm struggling to put some thoughts together, but I'm going to do my best today because it's my job.
It is your job. And I was at the wedding as well, and you were one of 4 best men.
I was,
I've never
yeah.
seen that before.
I know.
So, yeah, you were incredible, bro.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You
I went up to him before, you know. I went, right, so we do all the presenting together, right? So everyone's expecting something special from me, right? Because that's what I do. So I went up to Gillian. He'd been tormenting me all day about it, and I went, "No more messing, lad. I don't want no more insults. I don't want no more mocking, lad. I want you to give me words of inspiration right now." And he stood there, lad, and he went, and he was just giving me a wonderful inspiration,
slow
lad.
and clear.
Yeah, slow and clear.
If I've learned anything from being a presenter, public speaking, hosting, slow and clear.
Breathe. Yeah.
Jimmy Carr always says 182 beats per minute. That's how public speakers speak.
Right.
So I've tried to base my my speaking on that.
And it
But
worked.
You were unbelievable.
It
bro.
worked,
Honestly.
honestly.
You were.
It was
And
brilliant.
it was a really
Thank
special
you.
wedding. Loads of reds there.
Shout out Jack. He's our cameraman, by the way. If you watch
Yeah.
all the Kop TV, he's the
You'll
fella
know.
behind the camera most of the time, lad. So it was him.
Yeah, he is the guy that makes it
Love
all
you.
tick when we're up in Liverpool. So shout out Jack.
Shout out Becky as
On
well.
his marriage. Shout out Becky.
Congratulations,
Actual
innit?
Liverpool fan.
Innit?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's up? It's
Big up
happening,
Becky, long time subscriber. to Kop TV. Fantastic. Yeah, it was a great wedding. But today we're focusing on the next season and in particular the top 5 things that Arne Slot needs to do when he arrives at Liverpool. Let's not forget his contract at LFC starts this Saturday, June the 1st. So we'll be speaking about the top 5 things. If you are watching us on YouTube live right now, we're testing out this for you on the off season. If you are watching this live, please do make sure you've liked the video. We've put a poll up saying, have you liked this video yet? Of course I have, lads. And doing now. They're the 2 options.
Doing
so
now.
you have to like it, right? And if you are listening to us on the audio platforms, make sure you show us and show us a bit of love on
Yes,
there.
please.
5-star rating, please. And make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, etc., etc.
Yes, please.
Before we get into the top 5 things that Arne Slot needs to do at Liverpool, it's the perfect time to remind you, Doyle, that this episode today is, of course, brought to you by the one and only Manscaped.
Ooh.
Right? We've been sponsored by Manscaped in the past, so it's a very natural integration for us. And do not forget, Father's Day coming around the corner, guys, 16th of June. Or if your fella's having a birthday, if there's an anniversary, even if you're a lady watching this, right? And, you know, your fella's a bit bushy down there, then we've got the perfect below the waist grooming kit for you, right? This, of course, is the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. What we're going to do is a live unboxing, and we're going to get Doyle to test it out for us, right?
Yeah, you
Never
ready
been
for that?
seen on
You
YouTube
ready for
before,
that, yeah?
So what we're going to
Testing
do...
it.
Oh, no. Seems to have messed that bit up. But I'm going to open this box live, and we're going to show you just what you get in the box.
He's not
It's
struggling with
just
it at all. Like, he's not
yeah,
struggling.
no,
So
I am. Oh, no,
He's done it
that
the wrong way,
yeah,
bud.
It's that
Yeah.
way. So
Yeah.
open it up. It's a very nice little
There's our
package that
first
it
lesson,
comes
by the
in,
way.
Pardon the pun.
Go with the grain, lads. Go with the grain.
Go
Yeah?
with the grain. That's what it is. So it comes in this lovely little box, Manscaped. We open it up, and of course we've got the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra.
It's in a
I'm
tidy little
massive
bag.
fan. Look at that. It's on already. So to
Buzzing.
demonstrate how this works, and guys, you can use it upstairs, you can use it downstairs. It is the total package for you. And Doyle, if you would be so kind, I'm going to give you the Lawnmower 5.0, which does come with a locking device and a light for those hard to reach places. So Doyle, there's the Kiwi. My
Show me
friend.
Kiwi, lad,
There's
yeah?
the Kiwi.
Oh.
There's the Lawnmower 5.0. So if you give us a little example, of course, as you know, very comfortable, this one. It also comes with the beard hedger, but this is the most advanced trimmer so far. And as you can see, Doyle,
look at that. No pinches, no bleeding, no nothing, lad. Just smooth Kiwis all day. Yeah, look at that.
Mind you of anything?
Oh, hey. Yeah, it does, you know. But a little bit smaller, to be honest. And I've got 2.
But talk to us
this
about the
works
ease
well, you
of
know.
it. Yeah.
Hey, it does, you know. This has got a nice little shave on it. The Mrs. Kiwi is going to be very happy when he returns home, lad.
And lads, ladies, as well. It doesn't just come with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. This also comes with, and I can vouch for this because I've got a pair, the comfiest pants on the market. You get a pair of them as well. You get your ball toner, you get your ball deodorant. So if you're getting a bit freaky, you know you want to keep it nice and smelling beautiful down there, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do, buddy. Like kiwis, bud. Yeah.
Just like kiwis. And that is a nice shave.
Look at it, it's shiny. Can you see the light bouncing off it? That's how much look how fair it is, lad. Beautiful.
Honestly, it's a very good example that we've given you guys there. And you know, Doyle's got a beard, so do I.
I mean,
well, he's got a kind of John Aldridge, Gary Neville thing going on.
This is a Scouse thing, this. Believe me, it is. Every Scouser can grow a goatee, and that is all. Look at Trent. Look at Curtis Jones.
That's true.
That's the way it works.
That is true. I actually need a shave, so I will be using that after. But guys, if you want to get involved with this special Manscaped offer that we've got for you, we've made it very simple. As you can see on the screen now, if you go with our code, which is the Kop TV, you get 20% off your order, which isn't too bad at all. Plus, you get free shipping wherever you are in the world. And if you can't go via the code here, we've also put the link in the description for you as well. So we've made it very, very easy for you. Please just go to manscaped.com/the Kop TV to claim your 20% off plus your free international shipping. You can't get better than that. Honestly, the lawnmower trimmers, they're waterproof. They're IPX7 rated as well, against immersion for up to 1 meter of fresh water for 30 minutes. So perfect for use in the shower. As you can see, Doyle playing with his kiwi there that he's just shaved down to a respectable length. So if you are interested, please go over to manscaped.com/the Kop TV and get involved. We've made it very simple for you. Right, let's get into this one. Shout out to everyone who's in the comments as well. We've got Mazgo LFC who says, Arne Slot.
La 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 la. Arne Slot. La 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 la.
Love that for you. Love that. We're getting involved. The energy is up. Shout out to Josiah, who's a regular viewer on the Kop TV. He says, episode 115, Hot Kopics, coming like a Man City court case. Big up AGT Doyle every time. Shout out Josiah, who's... you know, when you see names pop up on the Kop TV, you think he's been rocking right from the start.
Yeah,
2020.
Yeah.
So shout out Josiah.
Legend.
Man. Big up. Jason says, hola amigos. Bienvenido al Kop TV, hermano. Frank Carlisle, shout out to Big Frank, the historian, the main man in Liverpool, says finally caught you on a live. Shout out to you. Gerson says one of the 5 things I'm sure is that Arne Slot will turn Nunes into a monster of a goal scorer again.
We're going to be talking about that. Is one of the things that we're talking about actually.
Absolutely. So, Doyle, let's waste no time and get into what our opinion is of the top 5 things that Arne Slot needs to do when he joins Liverpool on June the 1st. And again, this is an open conversation, so please get in your...
Just opinions, right? So we're going to say things that you may necessarily not agree with, or you might have a different idea of what you think Arne Slot needs to prioritise. But that's the beauty of this comment section, right? You just tell us what you think we need to talk about next, and that's what we'll talk about. But this is our top 5, and this is what we're thinking. And I think everyone will agree with the number 1 priority is connecting with our fans. He has to come in and create that type of relationship that Klopp had. Obviously, we're not expecting the same dynamic because that was something really special. Of course it was. But we need to see some type of personality. It's a family club. It's one of them. You have to connect with Liverpool supporters for the team to do well. As Klopp said on his last speech to the fans, we are the superpower of football. And if you connect with us, you win games. Even if the team's not as good as it should be, you can still get over the line. And I think that's his number 1 priority, to be quite honest with you. Before the football pitch, before he's kicked the football, before any players even thought about tactics, connect with the fans. Let's hear about your first interview. I want to see what you like. I want to see you with a bit of charisma. I want to see you respecting Klopp, respecting our grieving of missing him, essentially. And just, moving forward with that. And I think he has got a personality. You seen Feyenoord, yeah? Feyenoord,
yeah.
When they said goodbye to him, they were saying goodbye to him. It wasn't no little thing, lad. It looked like it was bigger than the Man City celebrations, to be quite honest with you, lad.
So it was. I'm not... Well, I've seen more people in the post office queue than I've seen at the Man City parade. Year on year, they keep winning.
I mean...
And literally less people...
It might be because they're getting bored of winning everything as well, to be fair, lad. So it's one of them.
But listen, I totally agree with you. I do think the number 1 thing Arne Slot has to do is connect with the fans. Now, how does he do this? Well, and again, what I don't want to do is consistently, and all the time compare to Klopp. I don't want to do
you
that,
can't.
'cause you have to come in and do it in your own way. But what I will say is Klopp instantly in his first press conference said, "I am the normal one. Doubters to believers." We can all think of the top quotes that Klopp said in his first press conference. Now, we're not asking for Arne Slot to come in, sit down on June the 1st. Cameras from all over the world are on him, and we're expecting him to come out with some words of wisdom or some quote that everyone gets printed on a mug like the normal one, or doubters to believers that gets turned into flags. That was almost a unicorn example. I think the way Klopp conducts himself and makes people believe from minute one. He also said in that interview, the first one, I remember he said, within 4 years, I reckon we'll win a title.
Glorious. And everyone was like, "You're mad." I literally remember that. And he also talked about coming in. It's not what people think of you when you come in. It's what they think of you when you come out. And in reality,
almost reel off the whole press conference.
They were big statements. They were big statements, lad. And in reality, if we hadn't have won that and he ended up getting sacked, he also would have been quoted on all them things. But he delivered, just like the song said. So we've quoted him on them stoic lines because they actually turned out to come true. But we're not expecting that from Arne Slot. We can't say he's going to come in and go, "I'm going to win the league next year against Pep, lad. He's the best manager I've ever seen, but I'm going to beat him." We don't expect that. We just expect his own version of that, his own charisma coming through, his own style. And just, I don't expect wonders. I just want stability. That's all I want right now, lad. I just want a nice, normal manager that's not going to be too aggressive with his style of saying, "This is my club now and this is what it's got happening." I want him to transition us.
Yeah, and I agree. Listen, there's obviously the really important first press conference, but also there is an opportunity to maybe go and meet the food banks or go and meet the Spirit of Shankly or go and connect with the main supporter groups and, you know, the disabled fans. How are you really going to connect with what you want to create and what Klopp created is every single person that sits in that stadium and sits on their couch around the world every single week, every few days to watch Liverpool Football Club. You want to feel like you belong to the club. Now, that's down to the manager, in my opinion, right? He needs to say the right things. He needs to create a happy but hard-working environment that the fans can see, which is what Klopp did. Everyone speaks about how amazing he is as a man motivator and a man manager. But at the same time, when he needed to bollock you,
he would.
Trust me, ask Mohamedou Sakho. You know, ask a few lads that maybe messed around a bit at Liverpool and, you know, we didn't see them again. So let us know in the comments, how do you think he needs to connect with the fans? Is it, you know, he creates his own kind of fist pump? And again, it's hard not to compare it to what Klopp's done. But what do you want to see from the first kind of week under his reign?
I want to see him controlling the media in the way that he should do. I want to see him doing all the things that you've just said for the city because it's very important. It's a family club. I want you to go out into the city, connect with fans. Go to the pub, lad. Have a pint with somebody.
That would actually help. It sounds silly, but that would help.
Genuinely, like, go and get a Guinness somewhere in one of the pubs, Go
to the dispensary.
Yeah, go to the dispensary, lad. Shout out. You got to shout out there because we love that pub.
On Renshaw Street.
Go and do normal things with normal scousers, lad. Like you said, go and visit a few fans, long life fans. Go and visit the food banks, like just everything, just echoing what you've just said. Get in touch with the city, get in touch with the people that you're about to lead, because if you do that, they'll be right behind you, lad. So you can make a few mistakes that way, but if you don't do that and there's a disconnect, the fans will be on you very quickly, lad. And especially after Jurgen Klopp, we're trying our best not to compare you, but inevitably it's just gonna happen because you've come right after him. And I'm so sorry that you've come after our best manager in the last 30 years, 20, 40 years, whatever. But someone's got to do it. And Arne Slot, you've put yourself forward for it, lad. So I'm expecting that you believe that you can. So I'm going to believe that you can as well. Yeah. And having said that, Jurgen Klopp told us, right? He said one sentence at the end of his thing. He said one bloody sentence. That's how powerful his words are. We keep going back to him. So sorry, Arnie. And he said, believe in a new manager, didn't he? And he sung a song.
Get behind him the way you got behind me.
And you know what it did, lad? Immediately.
Take the pressure off.
Took me, like, honestly, it made me excited. Yeah. It made me excited for this new manager because I was like, Jurgen Klopp thinks he's good. Jurgen Klopp has told us to believe. Jurgen Klopp has said that if we believe in him, he will be successful. So we must. And that's what we're going to do, Arnie, straight from the bat. So you just have to just you know, be nice to us about it, lad. Yeah.
And he's a good talker. We've seen that in his interviews. We've seen how he's connected with the Feyenoord fans. It's not as if, like you said earlier, they've kind of just ushered him out the door. We had Eric on the other day who told us how much he's connected with the Feyenoord fans. They absolutely adore this guy.
Tell him the story, lad. Tell him that story that you got with that shirt.
Yeah, we did it on the show. So he's from a village in Holland called Zwolle, and the local team is called PEC Zwolle. Yeah. And I played football with Eric, who is from Zwolle in Holland. He came up to Bootle a couple of weeks ago. And bless him. If you haven't watched it already, I really, really recommend it. It's on about 25k views at the minute, so it's actually proved that it was a really good video to do. But Eric told us about the connection with the fans. He even gave me the PEC's Wole shirt, which Arne played for. In that picture when Virgil and Arne are on the same pitch, Arne's wearing that shirt.
Mad.
So you're right. But what I think is gonna hit him in the first press conference, they're gonna ask him about Klopp.
Always,
right?
constantly.
They're gonna really pressure him. But because I know that he speaks really well, his English is fantastic. He's got a very charismatic personality. Because he did connect with the Feyenoord fans, I almost think that question is going to be one that he enjoys almost, and he's going to give the answer as if to say, well, yeah, Klopp did everything the perfect way, but I've also got my own way, and that's going to be the way, and everyone's going to have to get on board with that. So how do you think he's going to react to that first question, which is, how do you follow Klopp?
I can't tell you how he's going to do it, but I do know he's had 8 months to prepare for it, and then without a shadow of a doubt, he knows he's going to be asked Jurgen Klopp questions. So I think he'll handle it in the best way he knows how to, which is, he seems like he's well-spoken, as you said. Doesn't seem like he's going to be disrespectful in any type of way. If it were me, the way I would phrase it is, wow, look at the work he's just done and look at the foundations he's just left for me so that I can build a brilliant squad for you guys, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to transition from this to bring you success, because I care about this club, I care about my career, and I'm a good manager, and this is what we're going to do. That's what I would like to see him. Action straight away, respect to Jurgen Klopp, but also acknowledging the fact that he's got a big task now. He's got something that he's got to take, and he's got a lot of pressure on him. But taking it in a stride, as I said, the man chose this. He chose it himself, which tells me he backs himself. I like that. I like a man that's confident in his own abilities. So come in and just do them things for me there. That's what I would like, and then connect with the fans in the ways that we've just discussed. I can't think of anything else that I would want him to say. There's a lot. The football's a pain in the bum sometimes, lad, because I love the media side of things and I hate the media side of things, right? I love it because I get to watch my manager speak like a normal human being, and we get to connect in that type of way. But also, I hate it because it puts pressure on them, like the fact what we're talking about now. We know for a fact that they're going to be giving them questions that are probably really difficult to answer, and it just puts them in like
they're going to try
positions.
And trip him up.
Yeah, and puts them in positions where he might say the wrong thing, and it gives the wrong idea, and you can take it out of context and all this type of stuff. So, hopefully he just comes in and he just breathes. He just breathes, like we've said, lad. 122
Do you know what he
beats a
won't
minute.
need? Manscaped.
No, he will, lad, on that big slut.
Do you know what? One of the other things that Klopp did, and again, I'm going to apologise for constantly comparing, but it's all we can do. One of the first things he did, I think it was in his first full pre-season he had with the club, 16-17. I don't know if you remember, we played Barcelona at Wembley and we won 4-0.
Yeah.
Marco Grujic scored a great header.
Yeah.
But in the press conference before that game, someone from a newspaper that I'm not going to mention tried to ask him Jurgen a question. And the first thing, as Frank Carlisle has said in the chat here, is the first thing he should do, he should never, ever, ever invite that newspaper back to Anfield.
Never. He'll
and
know
that.
that. You
the club will speak to him and give him some house rules almost. And Klopp actually said, "You're from that newspaper, so I never speak to them."
Good.
And instantly then, you're thinking, we're in for a good journey
Connected.
with this fella.
Connected.
And he'll know all this. He'll be told all of this.
Yeah.
But these are all ways, guys, to connect with the fans. So that's our number one.
We're not asking a new manager to come in and change his personality. We're asking a new manager to come in to fit with our personality and what we believe in. And if that matches you and it's got an alignment, then it's perfect. If it doesn't, then we're not the right club for you. That's just the way it works. So if you don't agree with that type of thing that we're doing, then don't come to Liverpool. That's the way it goes, lad. You've got to connect with the fans, and that means by aligning with their values and morals, mate. That's the way it goes.
It's almost like an unwritten rule that when you come to Liverpool, you automatically assume all of the kind of frustration from the fans towards certain things. You understand Hillsborough, you understand the reasons why, Liverpool as a city doesn't read that newspaper. You understand the kind of working class nature of the city. You understand that ticket prices can't go up. You have to understand all of these things and be on the fan side. That's how you get alignment.
It's not even about coming to understand that. It's about you already know this from your own life experience, and yours matches up with Liverpool's life experience as a club. That's the way it should be, lad. That's why Jurgen Klopp was such a perfect match, because he didn't have to try to be that man. He was that man. It fitted perfectly. That's why it was so special. But I'm assuming that Michael Edwards has picked the right man to do that again, lad, because why would he? Why wouldn't he do that? Arne Slot thinks he's the right man to do that as well. So I'm giving him confidence, lad. I'm going into it with, like, obviously it's not going to be winning the league straight away, but I'm going to give him confidence, lad. I'm going to shout his name. I'm going to sing his songs. There's another few things that I want from him, but we'll discuss them in the next few points.
So, guys, in the comments, let us know if you think we're right. Give us some more examples of how he can connect with the fans.
Yes, please.
But
I'd
our
like to know.
first thing that we think Arne Slot needs to do is have that instant bond, that connection, that just that
Show us who you are,
electric
lad.
connection.
Show us who you are,
but
please. Yeah.
be one of us.
Yeah.
And we'll give you the keys to the city,
Yeah.
like we did with Jurgen as well.
Absolutely.
Right, so that's the first thing. I'll jump into the comments after the second one. Do be aware, guys, we can't read every single comment, but if you do want to send in a super chat, that bumps you up to the top of the queue. So that means we have to, unless it's very abusive,
Yes, please.
we have to read it out. So if you do want to send in some suggestions or things that you think Arne Slot needs to do to connect with the fans, or top 5 things he needs to do first, send in a super chat and we'll read that out for sure, and we'll get back into some of the other chats as well. Doyle, the second thing that I think that I've written down that I think Arne Slot needs to do once he's had that first press conference, in my opinion, he needs to keep hold of and convince the best players to stay. Now, we've already had some quotes coming out of, I think it was the Monaco Grand Prix. Virgil van Dijk was there at the weekend, and he's already said, which I'm a big fan of, he's already spoken to Arne Slot on the phone. He's had a conversation about his own personal situation, knowing that he's only got a year left, knowing that there's other players that have maybe got one eye on the door as well. And as the captain, he's taken on that responsibility to speak to the new manager, put his kind of troubles at ease, and really ensure him that he's here for the long haul. I assume that contract will get tied up, but in general, keeping hold of the senior leadership team, so Alisson, Robertson, Trent,
Salah,
the vice captain, Salah, these guys that are all maybe under a couple of question marks around their contract and re-signing. What do you think he needs to do to almost convince those spine players and the best players to stay almost immediately? And again, that also connects you with the fans. It also puts the mind at rest and at ease. How does he do that?
This is honestly my biggest worry. So I'm not disrespecting the manager at all in any way, but some of these players are massive, huge individuals in football. Mo Salah is one of the best Muslim players in the world, lad.
Well, one of the best players in the world, but also the face of the Middle East.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Footballing world.
Exactly, lad. And then you've got Trent. The city of Liverpool is 100% behind that boy. You've got Virgil van Dijk, the Colossus, who everybody knows in the world has been one of the best defenders at some point anyway. So it's really Alisson, the best goalkeeper in the world, genuinely. Or the best one-on-one goalkeeper, however you like to put it, genuinely one of the best goalkeepers in the world. These characters, I don't want to say it, lad. They're bigger than Arne Slot. They are. But they're not bigger than Liverpool. And so what I would like to think is he's going to come in and say, I know that you are phenomenal talents, and I just want to nurture and listen to what you guys have got to offer as well, because you have been there and you've won it all. Arne Slot hasn't won a Champions League. Arne Slot hasn't won a Premier League. So I do think he's got things to learn from the likes of Trent, from Virgil, from Salah, from Alisson, from Robbo, because they've been there with an elite manager and they've been to the top already. So I think he's got to have a respect for both of them. It's got to be a back and forth. I do believe that it's a conversation, not a telling. Does that make sense? He goes, this is my plan. This is what I think you'd be best with. This is what I think the team would be best with. What do you think, Trent? What do you think, Virgil? What do you think, Ali? I want to hear your input because you've been there and you're very important to this team. So that's what I would like to see, a back and forth conversation with these senior leaders and senior players to say, I want to build a team around you successful players. How are you going to help me to do that? This is my plan. I think that's the best course of action. Again, I'm not a football manager. I'm just speaking as a human. And what I would like if I was a professional player and what I would like if I was a senior player, I'd like someone to come in and ask me opinion rather than tell me what's happening. And I think Virgil van Dijk doing that, brilliant. This is why he's our leader, lad. This is why he's our captain. And also, I do like the fact that he's got that Dutch connection. So it might mean that, you know, if he has an influence over Virgil, like Virgil says, oh, he's a nice fella, I like this fella, he's got a good plan. Trent, listen to what I'm saying, lad. Ali, listen to what I'm saying, because he has big influence on the team as well himself, Virgil. I think it's going to be, it's just got to be conversation. That's what I think it's got to be. A nice conversation of back and forth, not implementing something straight away and saying, this is what you're doing, lad. A conversation. That's what I would like.
Because these players that you mentioned, they've been there, you know, for so long now that they understand the fabric of the club, they know how it works. But let's not forget, it's not just Arne Slot coming.
Yeah, it's back
his whole team coming, and let's not also forget the new structure within Liverpool Football Club in terms of Michael Edwards being the CEO.
Yeah,
If anything, Arne Slot's below that.
Yeah, he is.
As a head coach, less of a manager, more as a head coach. He's got his own team that he's bringing over from Feyenoord in terms of fitness.
It's a Dutch model, this lad. That's what it is.
It is. It's the Dutch model.
It's
of
not being
football.
done
It's
in the Prem.
something that, if I'm honest, we haven't really tried before.
No.
So we hopefully
goes either way, doesn't it, lad? That's what
we
we're doing
hopefully
right
nail
now.
it, and there's no question marks raised over it. But there's a lot of things that he needs to do. But I agree. Asking the lads for their advice, or almost saying, an open discussion, not a dictator that comes in and starts pointing the finger, but saying, lads, you've been here longer than me. How would you like to? Is there any improvements that you'd like to see? Is there any areas that we can?
I think Ancelotti
get better at.
Ancelotti's a perfect example of that. He plays with the best players on the planet, but he still manages to have brilliant man management with them. And I think it's because he does that. He has open-end conversations with them. He never tells them, this is what you are, this is what you should be doing. He asks them, what would you like to be doing? This is my thoughts. That's exactly the way a manager should be. It's a back and forth conversation, lad.
I agree. So listen.
And also one more point. Tell me what I need to do to connect to the fans. You love these fans love you. What do I need to do to make sure that they love me too and they're behind me? Because I want to supply them with success, lad. I want to give them success. How do I do that, Trent? How do I do that, Virgil? I want these questions asked. And I think a smart man does that, lad.
I also think when we find out the fixtures, which is June the 18th, right? So we're going to know 9 a.m. the fixtures. We're going to see the lay of the land, and we're going to see
Chelsea first game of the season.
Yeah, let's hope.
Wolves last game of the season.
I'll be honest. I'd love a home game to start off.
Please,
and I'd love to see how Arne Slot deals with "You Never Walk Alone." I'd love to see how involved he is. And let's not forget, when he left Feyenoord, they're singing "You Never Walk Alone," mate.
I know.
I mean, lads. Dutch clubs. I'm getting goosebumps. Dutch clubs are proper, bro.
It's a lot of clubs all around the world.
Proper.
The English Premier League gets all the flowers, lad. But even the Belgian league. Did you see the Belgian league? When whoever won the league the other day, running onto the pitch, like. A lot of leagues in the world don't get the flowers deserved because all the money and the focus is on the Premier League. But the fans love football just as much as English people do all over the world, lad. It's a shame to say they don't, lad. I don't know why people get it misconstrued.
But honestly, the Dutch fans,
boss, aren't they, lad?
Crazy, amazing fans. I have to say.
Even the fact, right? Like we were talking about that T-shirt earlier, lads. He left him a note with the T-shirt and told him how much he loves Arne Slot and how much we've got to look after him because he's that phenomenal of a person. Like. They loved him just the way we do, lads.
When I was speaking to Eric, he said, look after him. He's our guy.
Yeah.
And it's different because I think in England, if our manager was leaving, let's say Klopp left, right, and went to another, let's say he went to Madrid.
Yeah.
Do you think one Liverpool fan would be sending well wishes to Klopp if he went to
That
Madrid?
was the wrong team. I would if he goes to...
I'm trying to
give
you an angry example where you feel like, genuinely, only Dutch fans would have done that. Good luck with him. He's our boy. Look after him. If someone robbed our manager, we'd be like,
what's going on,
bud? He loses every game.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, the Dutch are special people, man. I'm actually going to Amsterdam tomorrow as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more of them out there. So far, we've got connect with the fans and convince the key players to stay, the senior leadership team.
It's just all about connection so far, in my opinion. That's what this is. It's all about connection. That's what Liverpool is desperate for connection.
Like
That's what we need.
School. You got to go and get some friends and build.
Go and tell a few jokes, lads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Bring a few Coca-Colas in and that, lad. There's a few bottles of Coke for you, lads, and that. You know what I mean?
Be a nice guy. So far we've got connect with the fans. That's the instant first thing that you have to do from the first minute. That's going out and having pictures, going out signing autographs, going out hugging. Go
and have a pint.
Go and have a pint.
Go to the food banks.
Walk around the local area. I'm assuming he's going to live in Formby area where Klopp was.
Lad, just go to Jolly Miller. Walk down the Queen's Drive, lad, with your Liverpool flag on you. Hit the Jolly Miller, lad. Get yourself a Guinness and the boys will be there, lads. Yeah, that's all. Just do that.
I mean, if you want a Guinness, though, you must go to the dispensary. If the Scousers watching this now, trust me, we've been to most pubs in Liverpool. That is the best one. So far, connect with the fans, and keep hold and convince the key players to stay. The next point, and this is going to be one that, again, on day one, he's going to have some idea of what he wants to create. And that's building confidence, right? But by buying the right players. So, for example, right, his captain at Feyenoord, we've heard a lot about him in terms of being linked to Liverpool. The centre-back, the captain of Feyenoord, it's Gertrude, who's described as a serious option for many clubs, and it is maintained that he could also possibly go to Liverpool. The likelihood is that he's a right back who can play centre back, left back, and defensive midfield. Apparently, he's not viewed as a genuine option by Liverpool. But as we know, Joel Matip has left. We've got
we need to fill a gap.
Nat Phillips will
We
be
have
leaving
to
as
fill a
well,
gap.
so that's 2 gaps that we need to fill. But as Joel Matip leaves, the emphasis on bringing in a new centre back to improve that depth in the squad, rather than just make up the numbers. We want the depth to be really super quality as well. And we know he's an accomplished defender, Gertrude, but his lack of experience outside the Eredivisie, having spent his whole senior career so far with Feyenoord, may make him a little bit of a gamble in that respect. And what we don't want to see is the Ten Hag model, right? Where he brings an Arne, he brings Van der Beek, who barely got a kick, he brings Anthony.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure there was another player as well that he brought over that's missing.
Martinez.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Which he's maybe the best one.
But even so.
But even so, he's been injured for 50% of his time there.
Yeah.
That's what we don't want to see. We don't want to see him go, right, copy and paste. I'll bring in 3 lads from Feyenoord, because that's what I know.
That, for me, that shows a lack of tactical nous in my opinion. What you need to do is go, I know the profile of player that I need, and I'm that well versed in the world of football. I know I can go to this league and find this player in this team. I've been watching this player. Our teams and scouts have been doing this. He's had 8 months to do this, lad. Whilst he's had a job at Feyenoord, he's definitely got to have a forethought about who's going to pick for his team. Because in reality, this is down to his own individual success as well. If Arne Slot, Klopp, I nearly said that.
Arne Klopp.
Oh my God. If Arne Slot wants to be successful at Liverpool, he's going to have to buy right. That's what Klopp did, lad. He bought the right players immediately, lad.
This is my next point. So as we know, Slot will be employed as the head coach, with the recruitment led by sporting director Richard Hughes and assistant David Woodfine, who again will be working in accordance with Michael Edwards, who is the CEO of football at FSG. So the 45-year-old manager will come in and he'll have a say in, players signed and sold. But largely, he's going to be required to work with the talent afforded to him and within our budget. We've also been linked with Sporting's Usman Diamande.
Seen that Diamande.
And Eintracht Frankfurt's William Pacho as well in terms of defenders.
We're looking at centre-backs, right? The way he plays, he does have a small inverted role for his full-backs, and he likes to play triangles on each wing, which means that his centre defensive mids have to cover this load of space here.
Henderson and Wijnaldum.
Yeah, he needs that. That's what he's going to need from midfield. But he also, the reason why he likes to do that is because he's got 2 ball-playing defenders who like to put diagonals in here to the centre forward, or diagonals across to the striker, to the wingers. That's why he's looking at these type of centre-back replacements. It's not just because Matip's going. It's because his play goes through centre-backs a lot, lad. A lot. And if you're looking at Diamande, he's used to covering. He plays for Sporting that right now, yeah? He's used to covering that right back position. He plays centre back, but he covers it, and it's the same with Gertrude. He's a natural centre back, but he's been playing right back all season. But he's used to covering that right part. And who going to need to cover for? Trent, as he pushes up, because we're not going to not utilise Trent's ability, right? You can't just say now you're a defender. That would be silly to do. He's one of the best. He is the top assister, right? Since Jurgen Klopp come for fullbacks, you cannot not utilise that. Would be silly. Same with Robbo on the other side, because I believe he's second, even, to be honest with you. So he's got to look at that now, and we've got to look at centre-backs, and I think that will be the first target that we do. I don't know who it will be. I genuinely don't. There's going to be so many names flying around Liverpool.
The Richard Hughes is the Michael Edwards,
which will stop that Ten Hag thing.
But that's it. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
so
it'll stop
if
it
Arne comes in and goes, right, I want to bring, they're going to be like, no.
Don't be daft, lad. Don't be daft. Don't be, chill out, lads, yeah? Sorry, lad, we're doing it already. We're behind you, lads, yeah?
We're behind him. Come on. But I agree. Richard Hughes is not going to be led down that road of, you can't just go and buy. We've got our own ideas, and you have to work to what we want.
Yeah.
This is the whole. I don't think it's an issue yet, but I'm interested to see the dynamics of this structure. I want to see how he's going to work with these guys that are telling him, forget that. That's who we want.
That's why
Klopp had a lot of say. He did. I know in the early days of Klopp, obviously Julian Ward and Michael Edwards were there, but in the end, when he signed players, they were Klopp players, right? You look at, Gini Wijnaldum, that's a Klopp player.
Sadio Mane was his. He wants them at Dortmund, lad.
Bobby Firmino, he was already interested in him before Brendan Rodgers actually signed him for
Van
Liverpool.
Dijk, of course.
Klopp player.
Ali.
Ali, Klopp player.
Still here. Still talking about keeping them now.
So I agree. I don't think he's going to get the leeway maybe he had at Feyenoord to just go out and buy who he wants. But
This is why, honestly, the biggest attribute that he's going to need to have is personability. He needs to be able to connect, because he's going to have to liaise with Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards about how he's going to want to play football and how and which players he's going to need. But them two are also going to have to be like, well, that's not the player you're going to get, lad. This is the player we think will fit your profile that you've asked for. Does that make sense?
I agree.
So it's all about communication. It really is. He's going to have to be a top communicator in the role that he's playing, because he can't just tell people what to do now. He's not the top dog. He's the head coach. Yeah. But yeah, as long as he's a good communicator, lad, it'll all be fine. Like, we just need to get good signings in this season. Then? Centre back, without a doubt. I think we need centre defensive mid as well.
People talking about great. Edison from Atalanta. In the chat. Edison from Atalanta.
What's the other lad from Atalanta as well? The other lad's I'm so sorry, I forgot his name. It begins with an M.
We'll find it.
It's like it's not like Kobe Mainu. It's something like that. It's like I forget what his name is. He's Dutch. He's a Dutch lad. Manor House or something, or Main House, or I forget. It's just Manscaped. He's been linked with Liverpool as well. Lad. That's the fella I'm talking about. We need the sensitive defensive mid. Endo has been brilliant for Liverpool without a shadow of a doubt, but he can't do it all on his own. Coop Miners, that's the one.
Two and Coop Miners.
Yeah, he seems like he's linked with Liverpool, and we want somebody, as I said, that's going to be able to have legs. We need somebody running across that back line, covering and sweeping, lad, while them two centre backs have got ball playing abilities, can put the balls in, and he can also cover Trent and he can cover Robbo. It needs to be somebody with huge amounts of energy, lad. Because like, you're looking at the likes of like João Paulina, one of the best centre defensive mids in the league, if not the world at the moment. Incredible. I know, so I wouldn't go for him. 26. But I'm talking about profile right now. What I'm talking about is that's the type of energy that we need. Somebody that's just going to get everywhere, all over the pitch, and intercept and tackle. Don't necessarily need him to be like what Maka was playing. He does like to have a pivot, but his go-to formation is 4-2-3-1, which means that he plays with a target man and he plays with two defensive centre mids. But when he's in possession, he plays 4-3-3, and that's where them triangles start to pop in with Trent and Salah and Robbo and Diaz and stuff, and he uses them attacking eights.
I agree. Yeah, 6 foot, 2 in Coop Miners, as we know, incredible games against Liverpool, especially at Anfield. The way
Gasperini won the Europa League, lad.
Suffocated Liverpool and played our own game against us.
Unreal, lad.
One, we had a weaker team for that game, which I didn't agree with, but they absolutely outplayed us, and Skamaka was there to finish off the chances.
Battered us, mate.
But Coop Miners, 26 years old, plays for Holland, will be going to the Euros. Again, should have a good connection with Virgil van Dijk as well. And Atalanta, I've just seen them win in Dublin, so I'm more than
also
impressed.
Good profile, right? High press, energy, like that's Liverpool's format blueprint.
Perfect.
Yeah,
just turned 26 as well.
I mean, I've seen him play a few games. I'm not going to say I've seen him play loads, but I've seen him play against Liverpool twice, and he was phenomenal. I watched his run in the Europa League, phenomenal.
Yeah, energies.
That's the profile that we're looking at. That type of profile.
Yeah. So look, so far we've got connect with the fans, and I've actually just had a message on Instagram from one of our followers, Liam. He says, "Hey lads, have you seen Slot was at Cooper's at the weekend? That's brilliant stuff. He's getting right in the mix."
There you go, lad.
Cooper's, let me tell you, is one of the worst pubs you can go to in your life. Yes. I actually went in there very briefly once. I don't know why I've even admitted that. It's like Phoenix.
Can't believe I've done this.
Jeremy Kyle in there.
He must have Googled. He went, "Where's the Liverpool pub?" And then went in, and that's where I go.
Cooper's. Yeah. Honestly, so if he was in the pub, then fantastic.
Boss, there's one ticked. Ding.
Yeah,
there you go, lads.
Come
for a pint with us, though.
Yeah, make sure. So connect with the fans, keep hold of the best players, buy the right players, build confidence as well. Number 4, we're going to go with now, and then we promise we will jump into the chat and have a bit of a Q&A session with you. So if you have got any questions for me and Doyle, do get them in now. Number 4, Doyle, create a clear footballing identity. One of the key things that Ten Hag has missed out on, because let's be honest, there's not really been any successful Dutch managers in the Premier League for the last 20 years, right? So he's got to almost break that mold. And I know you're trying to think of one now. You can't, buddy, because there aren't any.
There isn't, no.
Right? But with Ten Hag, what he's not done is that we and Manchester United fans can't see what his identity is, and that eventually bites you in the bum. Pochettino has just been sacked or mutually agreed to leave. What was his identity at Chelsea?
Yeah,
we see Arteta, we know the identity. We see Pep, who changes his identity every year. That's why he's the best manager in the world, because how he keeps reinventing the game. And I think we have an idea of what his identity is in terms of high energy, Gegenpress. You know, Eric said this on the video.
Stability.
Defensive stability. Now that's what I'm going to ask you, Doyle. What should his footballing identity be at Liverpool Football Club?
It needs to be attacking football because that's what gets the fans going. It also needs to be one of them type of styles where nothing gets past, lad. Our best season was when our defence was rigid. You're looking at Arsenal right now, how solid they are at the back and look how good they are as a result. It allowed them players who weren't scoring goals to then pick up their form and find goals later in the season because they were only winning 2-1, 1-0, whatever. And then in 2024, they started to win 4-5, 6-0 because that defence was so solid that gave them the confidence. So I think he needs to come in now and implement that defensive stability that he's already shown at Feyenoord. It's a different league. I've said it about 20,000 times. He conceded like 40-something goals in his first season for Feyenoord. Second season, conceded 17.
That is incredible.
It's a really, really good stat.
I don't care if it's Eredivisie.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
In the league, it just in the league, like, but everywhere else he probably conceded more. But still, and he also beat Ajax in that same season as well. And that's what he needs to do, essentially, because Liverpool at the moment, mate, are struggling at the back. The amount of goals that we concede is ridiculous. And it's pretty strange when you consider the players that we've actually got there. Some solid individuals. I will say that we had Kelly at the back last season, who was fantastic. So we have got good replacements. I don't know what he needs to do. He needs to implement that defensive stability, and he also plays with a target man, so he's going to have to get Darwin Núñez scoring goals, as many as he possibly can, lad, because we're going to back Darwin Núñez going into the next season. I know he's had a tough time with Liverpool, but that's what he plays. I was saying about the centre-back, ball-playing centre-backs. He pings that ball to the target man, number 9. That's the way his style likes to go. So, yeah, he's going to have to get Núñez on his game with his touch, with his offsides, lad, with his finishing. There's a lot of stuff that he's going to have to work on if he wants Núñez to be his number 9, lads. That's the way I'm thinking about it. Although, I do feel like the way he's going to do this is put Gakpo right in that slot. It just seems like it'll fit his style. Ball sticks to his foot a little bit. He's Dutch. He's going to have that connection with the manager. He's going to know what he's sort of talking about, what he wants. And he's going to sort of play that Bobby role for us where he's got Salah and Diaz running up. We need Diaz to start scoring goals. He's got a strong sense of identity with his football. He wouldn't have been able to win the league with them if he didn't. He wouldn't have been able to convince Liverpool that he's going to go and be successful unless he's got a very strong sense of identity. And he does. So, defensive stability and getting Núñez on his game, lad, that's what he needs to do. The rest will take care of itself with the players that he's got, I think. But that defensive stability is number 1 to me. I don't care if we win 1-0. If we play well, and we only concede 1. We don't concede, boss. That's fine for me, lad.
Yeah, I think defensively Liverpool started off quite well last season, but then there was some games where I think it was 17 games in the end that we conceded the first goal.
Yeah.
And I think Slot will be looking at that and thinking, right, how do we start games the way he's not been at Liverpool yet, but the way Liverpool started games 2 or 3 years ago, how do we get back to that?
Well,
it's the same players. I know they've aged a little bit, but it's the same players that are being asked to do that defensive job.
Jurgen's team went in a cycle, didn't it, lad? It went from an incredibly attacking, heavy metal football side, which they concede goals, and then through a lovely transition over 2-3 years, we were able to manage games. We scored a little bit less goals, but we didn't concede as many. And it was just a transition, basically, from learning how to not attack through every single second of the game. And it's come back around again where Liverpool, they haven't got the players that they need to have that the midfield stability, so they are leaking goals and it's leaving a lot of pressure on the defence. But then we had loads of goal scorers that were scoring loads of goals for us, so that's the way the team's gone. Does that make sense? It's had a cycle.
Yeah.
And so he's got to try and bring that back now to being like, boys, manage the game. When you get a goal, manage it. Then after 20 minutes, go again. But don't just keep your full throttle on that, because that's why we can see first, because we are full throttle from the first whistle, lad, and we can see first, and then we're still full throttle, so we win. But you can't. It's not sustainable, lad, as we just seen. That's why we never won the league.
Yeah. What do you think his first lineup should be as Liverpool manager?
Oh, that's a heavy question, that, lad.
I know. I'm putting you on the spot.
Right. Should we think, because there's going to be new signings coming in right now, right? So should we just talk about the players that we've got right now? Yeah. So obviously the back line's going to be Trent right back, Virgil, and I'll say Konate, Virgil, Rabo.
Do you think he goes with Konate straight away over Jarrell Quansah?
Yeah. I mean, but Jarrell Quansah, ball player. Absolutely. I'm so grateful that we have that defender, by the way, because it's someone that we don't need to go and buy in the league, and he's phenomenal. But I do think Kanate, right, he is a better player. I'm not trying to disrespect Jarrell. He's got
Different stages of their careers,
Absolutely,
but yeah.
And I think if he wants to start strong, he plays his strongest team, in my opinion, regardless of the opposition. That doesn't mean that Jarrell Quansah's not going to get in the team. In his midfield, I think he's going to put Endo and another signing into a 2 centre defensive role. So Endo and someone else. I think he might play Macher if we don't have a signing. So Macher and Endo. I think he'll play 3 at the top, which will be Dom Szoboszlai in the number 10, Salah on the right, Diaz on the left, and then at the top, I honestly think he's going to play Gakpo instead of Nunes. I genuinely do, lad. I feel like he's going to think he's got pace with Diaz and he's got pace with Salah, and he wants the ball to stick on Gakpo's foot so he can lay it off or have a shot, lad. The qualities that Darwin Núñez has are not quite the same. He likes to get in behind. He likes to have a through ball and sprint onto it. Gakpo's not that player. He likes the ball to his feet, and that's the way Arne Slot's going to set up, lad. He likes to get a ball on his head. I think that's the team that he's going to pick. If you think something else, let me know.
I do agree. I think he's got to really reinvigorate Szoboszlai.
Yes.
He's got to maintain and correctly manage Núñez.
Yeah.
He's got to work out if Núñez is a winger or if he's a striker.
I think on that wing, bro, in Arne Slot's team, I think he could be lethal on that left-hand side where Diaz plays. When Diaz is having a bad game or whatever, bring Núñez on, because that's when he's at his best, that 50th, 60th minute when he comes on. No one knows how to deal with him, lad, because he's electric. But in that centre-forward role...
Let's ask the chat right now, right? If you're watching Arne Slot's first game for Liverpool, who would you like to see up front? Is it Gakpo or Núñez? Knowing that there's obviously question marks around Luis Diaz's future, which I think will get kind of dismissed because Barca have no dough. I think the noise is actually coming from Diaz's dad or Diaz's agent, who are maybe dropping a little name here and there.
There's going to be a lot of this. Salah's name's going to be up there. Like what we were talking about before about convincing them. Their names are going to be all over the media. They're going to be linked.
By the way,
we've
not even mentioned Jota.
Oh my God, that's how injured he is all the time. Yeah. Lad, Jota, how does he play in that team there?
Well, that's it. It's
how does he fit into there, lad?
He's got a tough decision to make. But
he's our best goal scorer. Out of Gakpo, Núñez.
Most clinical, yeah.
I'm not disrespecting any player. Jota offers goal scoring. Yeah. The other lads offer different things to him, but the goal scoring comes from Jota, lad. It's insane. But can you play him as a number 9?
Well, this is my question. If you're Arne Slot and you're walking into the AXA, what's the first thing you're going to say to Darwin Núñez? And there's obviously other players that he needs to speak to, but how do you manage that? Because he's obviously not mentally the strongest player in the world, I'll be honest. You know, we spoke to a Benfica fan who told us that he took his Benfica pictures off Instagram at one point. He's done the same at Liverpool. We know how much he'd probably love to play for Barca as well one day. What do you do to put your arm around him? What do you say to him to really get him pumping for next season?
I believe in you, lad. I'm going to be here. You're going to get game time with me. We're going to work on that mental side of your game. We're going to block out all that noise because it doesn't matter, because the only noise you need to be listening to is me and the players that you're playing with, lad. And once you get that in your head, you'll be the player that you should be. I think that's the way he needs to go about it. Give him utter confidence. The player needs it. And to be honest with you, the fans have been on his back. And it's not fair on
rightly
him.
So, because of all
I
the chances.
I get it all, right. If you put yourself in the limelight, similar to us, right, the amount of criticism we get, because we put ourselves on camera in front of people and we offer an opinion, right, so you've got to be ready for the other side of what that opinion, it's not always going to be nice, but that means that you have to be prepared to block everything out, block the good, block the bad. It doesn't matter, as long as you're doing what you want to do, that's all that matters. So Arne Slot needs to get him focused. Absolutely focused, because the fact that he's doing all this on social media tells me you're not focused, lad, because you're looking at the wrong things.
And is that a language barrier still? Do you think he almost needs a sports therapist to go in and sit
I would
with
say
him
yes.
who can speak Spanish and connect?
Every single...
Because you see him, he turns up for Uruguay, smile ear to ear like a Cheshire cat. He can't wait to be connected with the Uruguay team.
We all need to speak with mental health professionals, lad. All of us. Yeah, if we play the game or not, or we do... life is stressful, right? So we have to find the right coping mechanisms to deal with the stresses that we have in life. And without a shadow of a doubt, professional footballers are put under a lot of pressure. Doesn't matter how much money they have, they will be stressed out in a lot of periods of their life. So I do think he needs a sports psychologist, without a doubt. Gerrard had one. Every sportsman has one. It's very important that you are able to regulate your emotions so that you can deliver the best performance so that you can. Yes, we want you to be emotional. Yes, we want you to have that fire. But we also want you to be okay, lad. Genuinely, and that comes through speaking about things. So maybe Arne Slot says, do you feel comfortable getting a sports a psychiatrist or something? Maybe he's already got one. I don't know. But I think he just needs to give him confidence. I believe in you, lad. Let's block everything out. Because there's too much noise going on around you and it's affecting your game. Let's block that out and work on the game that we need. So we need some more clinical finishing from you, lad. We absolutely need to keep that pace that you've got because that's electric. We need you to keep that tenacity that he has, lad, and that endearing quality, which we actually love him for, lad.
And that's why it's
We love him for
frustrating seeing him as he is now because we actually love him.
Yeah.
I don't think, genuinely, I've ever seen a player at Liverpool get more love for running up and down the touchline, warming up, doing his laces than Nunez.
Because you've got that.
We blindly back him no matter what. And I think once he understands, and I hope he understands that, but we absolutely go mad for this geezer.
Yeah.
All he needs to do is bend down and tie his laces and we're going, Nunez.
Yeah, it's true.
All we want is just refine your tools, sharpen that diamond, and become what we think we believe you can become.
Yeah.
We saw glimpses of it at Benfica.
Also, even
We've seen glimpses of it at Liverpool now. He's probably got 40-odd goals for us so far. But let's see a 30-goal a season. I want it for us as Liverpool, but I want it for him. Go and prove to everyone that you are that clinical. And I've heard so many people say he will never be that guy that scores you 30 to 35, right? But he scored 21 and got 12 assists this season. I'm sorry, I think he missed 38 big chances, Doyle. So let's say you stick 15 of them away, because it's not like you're not getting the chances and you're not in the positions you need to be in. You are. It's just that composed calmness finisher in front of goal that we're looking for. And if you can get us 30 goals via help from Arne Slot, reconnecting more with your teammates, learning English a bit better. I think he's maybe struggled with that in the last 2 years since he's joined. And maybe it is a case of a Steve Peters, for example, who's the top sports psychologist, right? Who worked with Stevie G after his slip at Chelsea, who's been involved. Maybe you get him, but the Spanish version, which makes you feel a bit more at home. You can understand the language. But I'm really pushing you to be doing interviews in English, full English now, right? If you've been at Anfield for 2 years, if you're getting paid all this money, learn the language, connect, and really want it. I want him to really be the man this season for us. I want that for him.
Yeah, it's not about.
He's got to show us.
It's not about
to show us.
It's not about him just learning the language. It's about when you feel a bit more fluent in your communication, you'll be able to understand things a bit better, which will maybe help you feel a little bit better about certain things that are happening around you, instead of you making your own assumptions, filling in gaps, and just through lack of communication, just not having a nice time, lad. Because we want him there.
But
Liverpool fans absolutely want you there.
Up.
Yeah.
Don't write this off.
Please don't, lad.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Right, because we're all behind you.
And that's another thing. The fans going into next season, lad. We've got to step up as well, right? It's all new for us. We can't be tentative about it. We've just got to throw every single bit of energy that we've possibly had, like Jurgen Klopp said, at the new season, and that means backing every single individual until they give us reasons not to be, lad. And I know Liverpool fans, they'll have to give us millions of reasons not to back them, lad, because we love our players. So just back them, innit? That's what we've got to do. That's why we're here now.
So if I could ask you to name 3 or 4 players that you think that Arne Slot needs to come in and through creating his clear identity of football, but who are those 3 or 4 players that you'd like to see him really focus on and work with?
I can't tell you individual players right now because there's so many names.
Nunez is one of them, isn't he?
Oh, right. Sorry. You mean, I thought you meant transfers then. Sorry.
No, in terms of 3 or 4 players that he puts an arm around who maybe didn't have the best season last year, and he gives them that confidence and that bit of love to send them into the season.
100% Nunez, yeah. I also want to see him put an arm around Trent. Trent is our scouser in the team, lad, yeah. He's probably going to transition into a different position in some part of his life, lad, in his career. I feel like it's going to happen at some point. And I want him to be almost best mates with the scouser in the team. Does that make sense? I want him to get the culture of Liverpool from Trent, lad. Third player that I think he should put his arm around. Don't think it's a particular player, but I think he should put his arm around the academy. I think the fact that we've got Conor Bradley and Jarell Quansah from last season. Jaden Danns, mate. Like, there's some serious Bobby Clark, some serious talent floating around in that team. And I think he just needs to basically bleed them in the way Jurgen Klopp's been doing. Like, because Conor Bradley, mate, he's a right back for the Premier League team, without a doubt. Quansah is a centre back for a Premier League team. If he weren't playing for Liverpool and he was playing for a bottom half of the table team, he'd be playing every week. He would. He's just that good. I also think one more honourable mention that I would like to see him doing, or 2, Dom. you're all right, Dom, lad. He said he was lonely last year. I hate when players are going through stuff like that. It's sad to hear that. And he like broke up with his girlfriend. Started really well, but then he went through a period where he broke up with his girlfriend and that, and he said in an interview he felt that lonely, and that's not how we want players feeling. So I want him to put an arm around him and go, you're a boss football player, lad, are we focusing on the right things in your life, because it seems like your mind's elsewhere, so let's get you focused back on the player that you are. Let's win some trophies with Liverpool, lad, and that'll get your mind right where you want it to be. I also think Harvey Elliott, lad, I want Harvey Elliott, lad. I love that kid,
His boots are behind you, though.
I don't love his haircut, yeah, but his footballing play, mate, he is exactly what we the desire that we're talking about that we want from Núñez. That's what I want every player to have. He is just so happy to put a Liverpool shirt on, and he runs his bloody socks off every game, and he's got quality to boot, lad. So that's what I want to see him put an arm around Harvey Elliott and go, this is the example of the fella I want you to be like. This is the fella. Does that make sense? So they're the 5 players. I know today I went off on a little bit, but there's lots of touch points that he's got in this team. And then also Virgil, you're the governor, lad. You're our team, chief. Lad. Yeah, you're the chief. Everyone listens to you. You're the alpha, lad. Everyone respects you. So I just want you to be cool and back me with my messages that I've got to the team. And if you think I've got something else that I should be saying, lad, you tell me, because you're the captain and I believe in you and your opinion, and it's got much value to it. So yeah, put your arm around a lot of the team, lad. Genuinely.
Yeah. Right, so far we've got number 1, connect with the fans. Number 2, keep hold of the senior leadership team, aka build or convince the best players to stay.
The span.
Number 3, build confidence within the team, buy the right players, sell the right players. Number 4, create a clear footballing identity, put your arm around certain players, build them up, go to the academy, see what you can work with there. And that's 4. We're going to jump into the comments now, and then we'll get into the 5th one. Loads of comments. Thank you so much, guys, for getting involved. There's so many to go through. Jerson says, I've got a feeling that Arne Slot might be Klopp in disguise. He looks so positive about this job. I'm sure he will deliver.
That's what I like to hear.
Shout out to Glenn, who says, did you enjoy your time in Dublin, AGT? Is water wet?
He did. He did.
Pope a Catholic?
Yeah.
I had a great time,
body.
And I will be back very soon. Don't worry about that. Glenn also says, I really hope we keep Núñez. There's definitely a good player in there.
Absolutely, we agree.
We know that 100%. Frank says, spot on, Doyle. That's my thinking with our best players. I think he was referring back to what you said a while back ago.
Oh, Frank, I'm made up. I always want to please Frank.
Yeah, honestly, I love Frank Carlisle.
Yeah, everyone does a Scouse lad. OG.
I honestly love him. He's brilliant. Like to see him on the Kop TV.
I've even been thinking about how many lads I say because of him. You know that? And like genuinely professionally, I don't want to say lads too many times. I would like to represent Scousers in a professional way.
Yeah, he also said, Alex, this is a totally different league to the much weakened Dutch one. Remember, the top 6 he has to compete with for sure.
That's one thing I would like to add. When he comes, he was asking me what I want from him. Jurgen Klopp beat City and Chelsea in his first season. It doesn't have to finish first in the league. I want top 4 and I want him to beat top 6 opposition. I want to see fight against them, lad.
Mohammed says, working with a sporting director is the normal way of working in Europe. Slot is used to it for sure. Slot plays something similar to Jurgen, says Glenn.
Yeah.
Edison is so good, says Ezekiel. He's a workhorse. And again, I don't think many people would maybe pay too much attention to him, apart from the final and the lead up to the final, especially against Liverpool. Slot just needs to be himself. Shout out to my man Shani Larson. All right, I was with him for 3 days in Dublin last week. Top guy. He says Slot just needs to be himself, and that's it. You can't fake being genuine. Once he's genuine, the fans will get behind him, in my opinion, for sure.
The normal one, lads. That's why because he was just himself, lad, and it aligned.
Yeah. Euro is unlikely since we have another youngster in Quansah, that French centre back, the 18-year-old who plays for, I think it's
What's his name?
His name is Euro.
Euro.
That's the centre back with the knee strap, the number 15 in Liga. I've seen him before. Núñez out on the wing, says Glenn. Gakpo through the middle, says Glenn. In terms of who will start that first game under him. Jota has to start, says Ravi. By the way, if you'd like to be a mod, just let me know. I can actually make people mods from here, and Ravi is one. As is Channing, who says, who do you think will get as a winger? I actually can't see us buying one if Diaz stays.
We've got
Jota, Salah stays.
Jota, Diaz.
I can't see us.
Like we just said, Núñez can slot into a winger position.
Yeah,
and so can Jota. So You know what I mean? We've got very dynamic forwards. I don't think we particularly need to focus on forward
Here's
play.
a question for you though. Shout out Josiah, who I'm going to make a mod now because he's been around for a long time, a managing mod as well. He says, interesting question I thought of. Would you sell Diaz for 70 and then add another 40 million or so to bid for Isaac? No, I wouldn't either. I love Isaac, but
love him.
3
Absolutely, and actually, he's the player that Arsenal, Liverpool, they could really do with that type of clinical finisher with all the rest of the attributes. But his injury record is mad.
It is.
I'm not honestly wonderful player, but he's injured a lot, lad. So it's one of them. I want consistency. The reason why Salah's been so successful at Liverpool is because he's very rarely injured. Touch wood that he doesn't get injured, but he is very rarely injured. So it gives him that consistency.
I wanted to say a special shout out here to Emily Roberts, who sent in a message that says, got very bad news. Oh, fucking hell. Leukemia is stage 4, really upset. Next season might be the last season I get to see Liverpool play, so I hope for a good season, Premier League win or a Champions League win. And every single person in the chat right now is sending big love to Emily. You'll never walk alone, Emily, for sure. And if there's anything we can do, as in Doyle and I, or anyone from the Kop TV, please do get in touch. And if, like I said, if there's anything we can do, we'd be more than happy to do it. Tickets to a game, whatever.
Come on a show, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like
Emily, just let us know where you're based. And do you know what? That's what I love, not only about the Kop TV community that we've created, but also just Liverpool fans in general. If someone's struggling, everyone's there for you. And the term "you'll never walk alone" really does fit into that.
Thank you for sharing with us.
We were with that lad who lost his wife.
Lad.
Before before Madrid in 2019, and we had a bit of a tear with him on the day, and he said Jurgen delivered what his son wanted. So honestly, it's not even people in general. I think Liverpool fans are so special, and everyone comes together. And Emily, as everyone is now saying in the chat, you will never walk alone, and whatever happens, we'll be there with you all the way. And if there's anything we can do, please do reach out and let us know, because it would be a pleasure.
Keep the belief in your head.
Keep the belief,
honestly,
stay strong.
And
we're with you all the way. And of course, you'll never walk alone, Emily. So a massive shout
sharing.
out to you. We send in all of our love. Frank Carlisle says, question for Alex and Doyle. Do you think Slot will have the pulling power that Jurgen had? Personally, I don't think he will have. Listen, Jurgen had a lot of pull, but let's not forget, there's a few names we missed out on due to Madrid's pull or another team's pull. So,
it's one of them. He's not going to have the pull immediately. But what he does has is a very good foundation to build success on. And if he builds success from that, then he's got pull, because Liverpool are winning the Premier League, Liverpool are winning the Champions League. So obviously you want to go to a team that's winning, right? So he's got this is his moment to make his mark in the football world, and then he might get pulled. But Frank, I think he doesn't have it right now. I don't know if you agree. I don't think he quite has it just in this moment. I think Liverpool have more of a pull than he does, if that makes sense. So,
yeah, but Liverpool have never really been about signing the biggest superstars in the world.
Thiago was the biggest one in my mind.
In my opinion, that's the biggest superstar ready-made we've signed ever. Yeah. From what I can.
Even Virgil van Dijk, I know he was touted as brilliant, but he wasn't. And same with Ali. I remember when we bought Ali for 75 mil, everyone was like, "Yo, you're mad." And then 5 years later, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, but you got Ali for 75 mil." I was like, "He was at
the time it was expensive, and now it's cheap."
So no, I don't think he has it yet, but he has a very talented team to build success with to develop that pull. That's what I would say.
And I also think this: does he actually need that much pull in his first transfer window? I don't think we're going to be going out for superstars that think, don't really want to go to Arne Slot in Liverpool. He's never managed a game there.
Never done that. It's not
the word Liverpool should just, for any football professional player, be enough. Yeah. And then the manager obviously has a part to play in that. But I don't think he's going to need that much pull in his first season, because he'll be buying, if we do buy anyone, he'll be buying players that aren't superstars, and that will be happy to come and work for him there already, because they know his style.
Buying players with fire in the belly. If you come to Liverpool, doesn't matter about the manager. If you come to Liverpool, you have an opportunity to win the biggest trophies in football. That's it. Yeah. And that's why we get the players like Mo Salah and the Manes for 30 million, who everyone thinks, why are you getting them? Because they have fire in their bellies to prove themselves. Yep. That's who Liverpool buy. That's why we like 100%. Players like Núñez, lad, because he does have that fire. It's in his belly, lad. He wants to prove himself.
We just need to,
refine it and sharpen it,
Shout out Shawnee says this time last week we're on the
Shawnee,
milk in Grogan's, Alex. You know how we say the dispensary is the best for Guinness and
That was
milk in Liverpool? If you're going to Dublin, shout out my boy Shawnee, go to Grogan's.
Yeah, we all know
Milk,
Grogan's,
mate. Right? Milk.
Milk, buddy.
Absolute
Creamy,
vanilla
creamy
milkshake milk with alcohol in, obviously. Go on Hazard says, hoping Jaden Dans gets loads of opportunities this season. Coming,
Bagsman.
really feel like he's got what it takes, his intelligence to determine when the ball will land for a finish.
Yeah, I get
cool
what he
in
means
front
by
of
that.
goal.
Yeah,
You know, the goal against, was it Southampton we played in the Cup? I think it was, where he
when he
scored
dinked
two.
it.
That
Instinctive.
But that's
all
like,
instinctive.
let's get a bit of that from Darwin. And this kid's 18.
Yeah, it's...
So Jaden Dans is going to get chances this season. And again, playing in Europe, playing in all the cups, he's going to get a lot
Our
of chances.
kids just won the League Cup last season, mate. Our kids won that. I know Virgil van Dijk
He's
scored a
already won
goal,
a
but
trophy.
the kids won it.
100%, man. It's a huge season for Dom as well. He's got so much talent, says Glenn. Massive season for him. Crescencio Somerville. That's a name that's been linked to Liverpool. The winger for Leeds obviously lost the playoff final on Sunday. Or
Poor
Saturday.
Leeds, by the way.
Poor
First
Leeds.
time that anyone's got over 90-something points
not
since
gone up.
1997 and not gone up, lad.
But Leeds, traditionally, I think they've lost 6 out of 7 playoff finals.
6 out of 6, lad.
6 out of 6. That's bad.
Poor
That's
guys.
really bad.
I feel bad for
They
you.
only go up if they win the league,
I know.
really.
And 90-something points wasn't enough. I feel, honestly, if anyone knows what that feels like.
It's us, buddy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Younger Macro, who sends in a super chat. Very no text, just the super chat. So thank you
very
to again, people asking about Somerville in the chat as well.
I don't think we need him. You know, I rate him as a good player. He actually scored against Liverpool when he went in the Prem, and I do think he's a great little player. But do we need him?
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah, I don't think we do actually. Go on Hazard says, I feel like Gravenberch will have a great season. I believe Slot will have wide knowledge of the potential and ability of Gravenberch from his time in the Eredivisie and could unlock his full potential. That Dutch connection will play a huge part in development, he also goes on to say. Frank Carlisle says, Emily, sweetheart, my thoughts and prayers are with you, my darling, as everyone else is in the chat as well.
Absolutely. Emily.
He also says we need a top quality DM and not an ordinary run-of-the-mill one.
Yeah, see, that's what I said
And then Emily
earlier.
actually gets back and said, the words and love me more than any football game in the world. Thank you so much. And the fans, they're not just fans, they are family. Incredible strength from you there, Emily. Let's get into our fifth and final thing that we think Arne Slot needs to do to really crack it at Liverpool. And it's simple, Doyle. Start well.
Yeah.
Right? As we said, we'll have a very good understanding in about 3 weeks' time of the fixtures, and then we can do another pod where we go, right, that's got to be a win, that's got to be a win. But I look back to, and again, we can only talk about what we know in terms of Jurgen Klopp and even Brendan Rodgers when he first came in. Didn't set the world on fire, Brendan Rodgers, when he joined us in 2012. I remember his very kind of strong start to Liverpool in terms of behind the scenes when he was saying the old envelope trick. I've got 3 players in these envelopes that are going to let us down this season, telling Sterling, almost the disciplinarian, Sterling, if you say steady one more time, you're on the first flight home. You know, he was very dictatorship vibes, whereas Klopp came in, and I'll be honest, man, I think the first game was a draw at Tottenham.
Was, yeah.
I think we lost against Palace very early on at home under Jurgen. Obviously, we beat Chelsea away very early away under Jurgen. Beat City early, and that's the last time we've won away at City in the league as well. So starting well, it sounds very simple, but it has to be a good start because Liverpool aren't a sacking club, right? We don't just get managers gone after 6 months of bad form.
Not at all.
And Klopp's had some really low points, let's be honest, especially not the season gone, but the season before that, in terms of, that big loss away at Wolves, big loss away at Crystal Palace. In lockdown, we lost 6 home games in a row. So don't get me wrong, guys, as much as we love Jurgen, there were some really difficult times under him.
Yeah, we have
I'll
to
be
believe.
honest.
That's right, but that's how connections are built, is through the difficult
belief.
times. Not everything, it doesn't always go your way, lad. It's about trying to build through the rough times, So I agree. He needs to start well. I'd love to win the first game, especially if it's in the bottom half of the table.
Well, I'd love
just
a nice home game, to start us off. I take it. I do believe that we can beat it. We've actually got the most points out of any team at home last season with 48.
Yeah, seen that.
Lost
Fortress.
one game.
It's the hardest place to go to in the Premier League.
So Jurgen Klopp went 4 seasons unbeaten at Anfield, which is just
That stat that Virgil van Dijk had would last for ages, didn't it?
I think he's lost 2 games at home for Liverpool in 7 years or whatever.
And that's why, this is why everything encompasses the fans and communication. This is why.
But it start well, right? And again, June the 18th, we find out the fixtures, but let's get, at the first 5 games, at least 4 wins and a draw. At least.
5, innit?
We'd love 5. But start really well, and then you've built that foundation to go on and really attack all the different competitions
build
in the
momentum
season.
and confidence, right? So I want them to sort of, the players to go, hey, this is working here. And when they come into a rough patch, then they go, all right, but we know if we go back to this, we're gonna be able to win again. So the worst thing we could do is lose the first game of the season. That's the worst thing you could do, because then where'd you go from there, lad? You have to build from the bottom again. So win the first game
and
beat in the
guess
next
what,
few.
Doyle? That first game is so important, I agree. But guess what? Whoever we're playing against, their manager will be going, lads, new manager.
Yeah.
They don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Let's go and ruin the party.
Yeah.
Let's spoil this atmosphere, this new man that's come in. Let's go and piss on their parade a little
Every
bit.
potential that they could do that as well. Right? If we're looking at...
That's what I'd be saying. If I was managing against Liverpool first game of the season, no matter who I was, I'd say, let's get into these.
Absolutely.
They don't have any history with this manager. Let's really show
I'd
them
actually like to
welcome
know,
to the Premier League.
I'd actually like to know the first games that Man United played and Arsenal played after their elite managers and what the score was.
Point.
If anyone has that in the comments, I'd like to know.
I think, I'll be honest, I think I know. The Man United one, I think the first game that Moyes had replacing Fergie was away at Swansea. I believe they won 2-0.
Okay, fair play.
I believe Van Persie scored.
You
can check it if you want.
Yeah.
But
yeah, if we're talking
JG says, I bet our first game will be Palace away.
Nah, this will be what it'll happen. First game will be Chelsea, and the last game of the season will be Wolves, because that's the way it works every season for Liverpool.
Yeah.
What's the question then, lad?
Just starting well.
Yeah,
first
starting
game
well.
of the season.
It's just about building momentum for me, lad. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You seen Ange made the season because he started it really well. If it was the opposite way around, he might have been sacked last. So I don't think Liverpool would do that, but I want to build momentum to create an example to the players of how they can be successful under Arne Slot early on, so that they're not, when they're under hard times, struggling to find where's the solution. Arne Slot's got it there because we've already won games, so that's what I want to see.
So there we go, guys. There is your top 5 things that Arne Slot needs to do when he joins Liverpool. We've got number 1, connect with the fans.
Yes.
Number 2, convince the best players to stay. Number 3, buy the right players, not just because you worked with them at Feyenoord, but we go on a data-driven approach when we go after managers and players.
Michael Edwards is
the king of that.
Yeah.
So he'll have some options in front of him, and he'll say, who do you want? Number 4, create a clear footballing identity that the fans can get behind, the players can get behind. I want to see us within 2 or 3 games. I want to go, that's our style.
It's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different, but this is Arne's style. And then number 5, start well. Win your first few games, get that confidence up, and we go from there. What a show it's been, guys. Shout out to Go On Hazard, who says, these streams keeping me from going into boredom. Just done my ACL playing football and won't be able to play for at least 6 to 9 months. So I appreciate having the Kop TV. We were with a good mate of ours, Matty, at the weekend at the wedding, who has also just done his ACL
properly, but he was dancing everywhere. He's a nut.
He's one of the maddest kids I've ever met. I love the kid.
He is.
He's a mad kid.
Ever since we were this big, he's always been a nutter lad.
Jumping around, doing dancing on one foot.
He's a dancing with his ACL broken and waking up in the morning.
He's a madman. He's a madman.
Have to go for surgery again.
I love him though. He's actually in Bangkok right now because he lives in Australia, so he's in transit. Frank says, is this just a one-off live show or are you having more? This has been great this morning with fantastic content. Chatters have been on top form too. Well done, everybody.
Thank you, Frank.
UTFR. Shout out to you, Frank. Challenge says, I reckon we get Ipswich first day of the season.
I'm happy to see them, by the way.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice to see new teams come up?
Sometimes,
I always enjoy that. I genuinely,
you know what? There's
was
only
great.
5 teams from the north of England, though, in the next
the lowest ever.
It's the lowest ever.
Yeah.
But Man City or Liverpool should win it. So, anyway, we'll see. Afternoon from Dubai, says Jamie. Shout out to you. Just a quick reminder, guys, if you've only just joined us, this is the end of the show. But as Doyle will be showing you here, this episode, don't show them the Kiwi, show them the lawnmower 5.0 Ultra with light and no nick technology. Look, that's smooth, isn't it?
Smooth,
right? If you're at home wondering how it works, that's how it works. There's no nicks. Look at that. You've almost given the Kiwi a haircut there. It's like the lines are there. Doyle might use this after as well to shave his John Aldridge tash as well. So we look forward to that. But if you'd like to get involved with Manscaped, boy, have we got an offer for you, Doyle. If you use the code on the screen right now, the Kop TV, if you head over to manscaped.com/the Kop TV, the link to that website is in the description for you now. So it's very easy. If you do that and type in the Kop TV at checkout, not only will you get a huge 20% off your order, but it's them shipping fees that can be a nightmare sometimes, right? Especially international. So free shipping, right? We take care of that for you. So not only do you get the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, you get your beard trimmers in there as well. You get a very comfortable pair of briefs as well, which I'm a big fan of, if I'm honest. Yeah. Top in the game. Mrs. loves them. Then make sure you get involved. You head over to Manscaped and you smash in that Kop TV code and enjoy free shipping and 20% off. It can't get better than that.
Genuinely, if
it
you're
really
a fella.
Can't. Father's Day coming up, June the 16th. So again, very good for your old man if he's had a bit of a bush since the 70s and 80s. Get him a Manscaped and he'll be looked after. If you're a girl watching this, get one for your fella.
Yeah,
it's honestly it's getting hot out there, guys.
Any fellas know
it's sweaty down
there. It's
there.
hard to shave your plums or your kiwis. Yeah, it's hard.
Can I have a go? Because I haven't actually.
Here you go.
Go on, guess the kiwi.
Have a go with my kiwi, lad. There you go.
The thing I love about this is the light in them hard to reach places. Right, I'm going really close here on the kiwi. It's almost like you don't even feel it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's seamless.
That's what I'm saying. It's actually genuinely like. Not a joke. It's
There's
difficult
tiny
to
little
do
hairs
it. So
coming
you've got
off.
like an actual bespoke tool to do it with, which is honestly useful.
Bit hungry actually. Right, guys, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully, if you're a fan of them, we will keep doing these live because it allows you guys to interact. Please, before you go, smash that like button. If you're listening on the audio platforms, do us a favor, give us a 5-star rating and follow us on Spotify, Apple Music and whatnot. Please go over and follow Freestyle DM on Instagram. It's going to be a great long summer. We've got so much stuff coming up as well.
But we're also going to miss Liverpool for 3 months, so that's why we're here, to keep you covered for 3 months, because we're also waiting for the season to start. We love the Euros and all that, yeah, but we love Liverpool, and that's why we're going to keep you entertained while you're bored watching a team that you don't care about.
Yeah. So as I said, make sure you subscribe to the Kop TV if you haven't already. Emily, if you're watching this, which I hope you are, you'll never walk alone, Emily. And if you ever want to get in touch, if you ever need anything, if you want to get to Liverpool,
messages on Instagram, messages, and we'll sort something out.
You never walk alone. Right, we'll be back next week. But until then, take care. See you soon. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed this, make sure you check out the rest of the channel too. There's other stuff you'll enjoy for sure.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Kop TV.
The voice of football's most famous dads.
Come on.